Hello and welcome to the new episode of the How to Trade Like a Pro podcast. I'm Wieland Arlt, and in this episode I'm talking with Christoph Theile about the emotions of a trader and how to overcome greed and fear. Before we start, please take a closer look to the risk disclaimer in the show notes. And now, let's go. I'm here with Christoph Theile. Christoph Theile, he's a trainer, a speaker, and a coach. And Christoph is specialized in dealing with emotions. And of course, not everybody is a trader. Christoph is not a trader, but he's a very good coach, a very good trainer. And that's why I decided to bring him in this podcast just to talk about emotions in trading. And first of all, Christoph, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Wieland. Great to be here, and I'm totally enthusiastic about your topic, and let's see where we will go with our emotions.
Same to me. So welcome again. Christoph, just to give you a brief introduction about trading and why it's so important that we have to talk about emotions in trading. So when we talk about trading, we have to differ between investment and, let's say, very short-term trading. And as a rule of thumb, if you trade as investor, so you have a long-term view for your investments, then emotions only come into play if you have, like, let's say, a crash in the stock market where you really get surprised by a certain big move. So there, of course, you get some emotions because you ask yourself the question, what is happening to my money and what kind of decision do I have to make? But this is, honestly speaking, not always the case, and it's pretty seldom or rare. But if you trade a little bit more short-term, like day trading, or even more short-term as scalping, which is very, very short-term, you just enter the market and you exit the market after a certain small move, either with a profit or with a loss, then you tend to have quite a lot of emotions. So at least this is my experience. To give you a brief example to this, if you trade intraday and you focus on a time frame like, let's say, 5 minutes, then you open a position and you sit live in front of your chart and you see your money going up, like being in a profit, or going down, like being in a loss. And this brings you to both sides of the scale of your human emotions. So you're caught somewhere between greed and fear. And this goes on as long as you're in the trade. So, and then sometimes the market tries to fool you. So he sends your trade to the wrong side. You get into the emotional state of fear and anxiety. And sometimes it happens that you make a decision because of fear, exit the trade, enter the trade in the other direction, and make a bad decision because of that. Because sometimes as the market fools you, you exit the trade into the wrong direction and end up as a loser again. So this is what, the emotions are about. So you're somewhere between fear, greed, let's say hate, revenge, and all the stages in between. So this is just a short introduction to trading. And I think for you as a coach for emotions and dealing with emotions, I'm pretty sure you have some ideas in mind how to handle this.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting view you put on the table here. Let's question the beginning, because you said there are only emotions when you are losing. I would say you will definitely will have emotions when you're winning, or when you just stay stable. So we are looking sort of on the dark side and of the light side of the emotions here. So, and of course, I think the most interesting part is when fear is taking over.
That is,
and when you see your money is going. Mm-hmm. I play a lot of poker, and I think here you have sort of the same in the smaller area when you see, okay, you're losing your chips against strong partners or enemies in that case. Yeah. And that's for sure. We can talk a lot about, let's call it the dark side of the moon.
It is.
it's sort of, if you look on Star Wars,
yeah,
like may the force be with you, and to see what side of force is coming into play here. And I would start to have a look on emotions in general, and then we could go into the fear part and how to handle fear, or like if you get paralyzed. Because I think that would be one of the most important parts, that you lose your ability to act. And the first part on emotions I would start is that we are having emotions all day long, and really all the time. That's most human. We in earlier times we thought that we are like persons or people who can sometimes have an emotion and are very rationalized and analytic. But it's the other way around. We are emotional persons and people, and sometimes we have an idea of analytics and clear thoughts.
Yeah. So in economics, there was an idea of the homo economicus, which is absolutely rationally and acting just on figures and numbers and not on emotions. But you say this is absolutely not true, and science is with you. So yes, this is a proof. We are emotional beings. Absolutely.
Yes. And so we are talking about the homo emoticus.
That's a good one.
That is a new word. I think I heard that like 2 or 3 years ago, and I think, yes, there's something with it. And I think it's a very huge part in trading is taking a decision. And I think that was one of my biggest insights when I started working with emotions, that you cannot take any decision without emotions.
Yeah.
And they have proven is with different situations that every decision is really emotional. But we have to differentiate decisions here. Do I have a choice, or do I say, okay, maybe A or B, and I really can? It's very easy to see what is better, or is it something which you cannot really grip? And then we are on a real decision. And I think in trading we have things like that.
Sure. So if you're trading short term, so let's stick with short term in trading. You always have to make decisions. Should I go in? Should I go out? Should I manage this? Should I manage that? Should I shift the stop loss, or do I shift to break even? Should I lower or raise the position? So it's similar. It's pretty similar to poker. So if you mention poker, it's very similar when it comes to making decision, even up to being in a tilt state where you just do completely irrationally things, and afterwards ask yourself, hey, what has happened right now? Why? Where's my money? And does anybody know what I have done? So this happens, or this can happen in trading as well, just because of emotions. So yeah, making decision upon emotions is obviously the case.
You know, when I work with emotion, I have one saying that says, emotions are not the problem, but the solution. And coming from the Shaolin school, there's a great saying when the Shaolin start, and then they have one job to solve, and that is you have to get contact to your fear. The fear is your enemy.
Yeah.
And then when they really get into this after 3 years, and they really get further and further with their capabilities, then is coming the next one and says, you have to really control your fear. It's your only enemy. And that is interesting. And they say, if you handle your fear, you can manage anything. Yeah. That's the only thing which prevents you from being successful and doing things. And that's why I really very often when we look on emotional work, we have to look on fear. What is behind fear? And then we have the second sentence I use, and that is, you need to perceive or identify your emotions. You have to comprehend them, and then you can activate them. And there are even rules behind emotions. So you can find a way to get away from your fear and get away from being paralyzed, and that your thinking is coming back. And if that happens, you might be able to react even in situations where you say, okay, I fear that there's I'm losing my money just now. What can I do? And if you look on poker, you have this one name, I think you just said it before, it's going tilt.
Yeah.
So, and then you say, okay, I'm losing money, so I do more, I give more money and more money and more money. It has to turn.
Yeah.
That is the most dangerous part in the whole game. And you're an expert on trading. I'm only on poker. So you probably know this story very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So yeah.
So let's have a look on emotions and fear, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So how to overcome fear?
First we have to understand we as human beings have 7 basic emotions. Only 7, and that's the good news. If you look on Google and you look on emotions, you might find 450. And in the meantime, we really know there are only 7 basic emotions, and from these 7 emotions, we create all others.
It's like colors, right? So you have just a few colors, and then you mix all the other ones out of a few colors. Right. Okay, got it. So, and if, for example, just to give some examples, we have 2 basic emotions which sounds very nice. That would be like joy and amazement. And there are some, they don't sound so nice. That would be something like contempt, disgust, maybe sadness, fear, and the one I call wrath. If we look on fear or being afraid of things, we have to understand that this emotion is a mixture, so it's a complex emotion consisting of 2 emotions. If you are getting afraid of things, we have 2 emotions in place, and that is fear and disgust. And that makes it very interesting, because the fear, if you look on the reaction, people like turning into fear, it's like sort of being paralyzed. You just can't move anymore. And the disgust emotion is the emotion where you say, I want to withdraw. I want to get away. Can't look on the situation anymore. Can't stand it. Sure. If it's disgusting, then you don't want to see it.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah, and like a bad trade. It's really disgusting.
It's really disgusting. And I think everybody who went through things like that really knows that that's true. And because what we know, when people are getting afraid of things or getting in a really situation where they get afraid, you have 2 reactions. You freeze, or you want to run. Or you want to fight yourself out of the situation. Yeah. And now we have the problem that if those 2 emotions combine each other, we have a reaction in the other emotions. Okay. And it's not so easy to show you this without showing you a picture of like a circle of emotions which I created, where you can see all the rules, how they work together. But I try to tell you what was happening. If one emotion gets very strong, other emotions go down in energy, and you don't have an access to these emotions anymore. And I call that the partner emotions. And because they all lie in a circle, they are all interconnected. And we start with the emotion of fear. The partner emotion of fear is, you can call it wrath or anger. And this emotion is responsible for moving in your brain or with your body. Both, it's the same. And that's what I said before. If like fear is getting up, you feel paralyzed. You can't move anymore. But in order to get rid of your fear, you need to move. Your brain needs to go to go and think fast. And the fast is not possible in the moment, because in that, when fear is taking over, the getting paralyzed takes over.
So you're completely stuck in the situation and don't know what to do. So even you get eaten. Or you get away. So one of these 2 points. It's a wonderful situation.
If you look like on Stone Age and you see the T-Rex is coming. That is the situation. You get paralyzed and can't move. And in that case, it was a good idea, because the T-Rex wouldn't see you when you don't move. But if you are in a trading situation, that might be not the right idea.
Maybe the market doesn't see you, but you won't see your money at all, right?
And now as I said before, the combination of disgust to fear moves another emotion down, and that I call this emotion, it's the emotion of real clear thinking, clarity. So that is the other partner emotion, which is going top down. And so you can't move anymore, and you cannot think clearly.
I'm familiar with that.
So everybody knows. And there's a third one in the game, and that is not so easy to understand. But that is this emotion is called sadness.
Yeah, I know that also.
Yeah, and when sadness is going down, you are so deeply disappointed in this what happened, and you cannot do anything else but being stuck. So these 3 emotions really hold you in the position. You can't have a look on it. You are totally paralyzed, and you are totally disappointed and near to resigning.
Yeah. That sounds absolutely like a bad trade to me. Yeah, absolutely. So you completely describe what is going on. For example, in my mind, if I make somehow a trading mistake or in a bad position or I made a bad trade, and then this is it. I'm disgusted about what is happening. There's a fear of losing money or losing faith. Both comes into play as well. Then the anger comes up. I lose clarity because, hey, I don't want to lose money. So what to do? And the longer I wait, the worse it gets. And of course, then somehow there's sadness, disappointment, because not only I have made a bad decision, I'm also not able to make this bad decision to a right one, to a good one, that is exiting the trade.
Yeah, that is, I think everybody really knows the situation. And now what we have here, when we talk about the emotion system, we have to look on our human beings. If we want to get control over things, whatever it is, we need to name it. We need to understand it. And if we can name it and we give it really names and understand the mechanics behind, we have a chance to get over it. And that, of course, that doesn't work like from now to the next second. That is a development. You can learn to handle your fear and your disgust and everything, and that is like a way of working with your emotional body.
Okay.
And that's what's all about. But the first step really is I really can perceive what's happening, and I can really understand or comprehend what is happening within myself and my emotion system.
Yeah.
And then we really have things how to work against the situation. And the first thing, if we now say, okay, what can I do very fast? So the first step against your fear is you need to get back your clarity. So that is definitely the point. That would help. If I raise my clarity, my disgust, my turning away would stop. And as a result, like when you build up your clarity again and you activate your clarity again, you will be able to move again inside your brain and with your body. And so now we have two things we need to activate. It's like movement and clarity. Those two work. So imagine the situation, you are sitting in front of your PC and see how the things are going down, and you can't even, you don't dare to look at it, and you are getting paralyzed. Yeah. The first thing you should do is stand up.
In the middle of a trade.
Yes.
All right.
You need to move. You need to get your body moving, because if you don't, and you are just looking like in front of the T-Rex or the snake, the rabbit in front of the snake, you don't have a chance. You need to move. And even if you lose now some seconds, it might be a good invest.
All right.
Because you need to get back to your clarity. And then you need to, my second step, and that's, I only can do it into the poker game. I just stand up, move once around my chair and sit down. Yeah. So what happens? The emotion of fear and being paralyzed is gone because I moved.
Yeah, you're not paralyzed anymore because you've done anything.
And my brain realized, moving again. Okay. So fear is going really down in a second, and then I need to find a clear thought. And I think, and then I would say, okay, maybe, I don't know. That's where you probably come into play. Say, okay, how much did I lose really? What am I talking about? Is it just, it's going down and I'm getting in panic? Or is it just, okay, maybe I lost this amount? And you always work on borders normally. You say, okay, there's a stop point. Yeah. How far did I get into the direction of my stop point? So, and now if you get a clear view on the situation and you moved, your brain is working again, you can take a decision.
Okay.
And that would, but you need to have a view on the side, what am I talking about? Put it on the point, put it on a focus. Yeah. The focus part is here totally important, and breathe.
Yeah.
Begin to breathe again. So and then we come to the Shaolin, back to the Shaolin. The breathing is the basic.
Yeah.
To be very, very cool. Right. And then you will see the whole emotional situation changes very fast. The emotion system is so unbelievable fast. It's like you can change it within 150 milliseconds.
It is.
If you know how.
So if you do it like this, I mean, just standing up takes a little bit more time, but yes, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So just to put it together, so you're in a bad trade, you're in a loss, and you say to overcome your fear, to overcome come here, discuss, move, stand up, turn away, maybe leave the room, I don't know, but just move your body, move yourself, and breathe, focus, and find for yourself, ask yourself, is this really reasonable? What am I doing? And is the amount which is at stake, is this really worth being completely overwhelmed, or is it just within my usual proper money management or risk management?
Yes.
So is this really unexpected, or did I expect from time to time a loss like this? So is it within my plan? So I made some adjustments, but this is what is very important for a trader.
Yes. It's really, and what I would suggest, if you move, don't move slow.
Okay.
You need to move fast.
Okay. That's good.
So if you stand up, like run around your PC, please don't fall.
Yeah. Okay.
But the body needs to sense that you are in full action.
Okay. It's like fight or flight, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and like the blood's coming back because you lost your whole blood went down from your brain because of shock, and that's just normal. The blood went into the legs. Because your system knows now you need to escape. Yeah. But you don't want to escape here. You don't want to get back and focus again.
Sure.
And so for that you need to get up and get your really hyperbolism moving. And then it's coming back to your brain. And then you say, okay, focus. What is it? What's the real situation? Give yourself some seconds, and then you come back. And just to give you an outside, the longer you train the emotion part, at the end you don't need to get up anymore. Yeah. You can do that with the emotions without, but you really to begin here, when you never used this system before, that would be my first advice.
Yeah. Okay. So I have to move. So generally speaking, of course, from time to time, it's a good idea to get up from the chair and move a little bit around. But anyway, just moving means you can move some body parts or so. Maybe this will be enough, or just move your head. I don't know. But I like the idea of being in action again. This is what it is. And find another thought. Of course, I have to add this as a pro and as a coach as well for traders, that proper risk management before a trade is obviously the key, because if you have a certain amount which you are willing to put into place or to fire, and where if the trade goes in the wrong direction, the money is lost, and I'm totally fine with it. So this helps quite a lot. But until this point is reached, you will get completely to the situation, or into the state of fear and of anxiety and of all the things we just talked about. And this is a moment where a lot of mistakes happen. So this is just to get this into the right place. This is why we are talking about.
Yes.
And of course, there's a little brother of fear, which is called in trading greed. So how can we overcome greed? Or what is happening with greed? So you make 2 or 3 really good trades, and then you're in a trade which is really going into your direction, and you just don't want to exit and take the profit. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of traders already know what happens. If you wait too long, all the profit is lost and gone, because, well, markets move in the one and then in the other direction, and then in the one, then the other direction. And if you are too greedy, you end up having nothing.
Yes.
As it is in life from time to time.
That's very interesting. Let's talk about being greedy. It's very surprising from which emotion this emotion comes, and this comes from joy.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Greedy is the emotion from the dark side of joy. So if your ego is coming into place and say, okay, you see that that's going up and going up and going up, you lose control. You lose control, and that's, as we talked about, tilt situation, and you see, okay, it's getting more and more, and the joy is taking over. And if this is taking over, you lose your feeling of being contented. And that's what you sort of said before. If you are winning or if you're losing, you have to manage it before. And that helps because if you have a good management before, that is clarity. And clarity always helps you to stay in control. And if you're getting greedy, you lose totally connect to this emotion of clarity.
Yeah.
And you make yourself vulnerable to a high extent. And let's talk about the emotion system. If you are getting more into practice of this emotion system, you will see yourself being greedy. And if you really perceive it and comprehend it, then you know, okay, in this moment, I am now turning into a very difficult state of emotion. And if you know it, if you can name it, you can handle it.
Yeah.
And this is, again, the real important part. So you have to you have to create a balance within yourself between being contented and being greedy. And again, we can control, as human beings, we can control everything when we can name it.
Yeah.
And here again, it's a wonderful picture we have in here. Imagine you can have a controlled, you can be controlled greedy. That would maximize your profit, probably.
Definitely, sure. But how to get controlled greedy? So first of all, I really like this idea of, it's like a tripod. Know it, name it, handle it. I really like this. So we could really write this down, and this is it. Absolutely. But what is controlled greed?
The controlled greed is you feel it and you know it in this moment. When I know I'm getting greedy, what happens? Then you can judge it. You say, okay, will I give in, or do I need to stop it? That's the point. And normally, these emotions, which I said coming from the dark side of the moon, there you have a lack of control. But these emotions have great power. So we need, that's what I always try to get over. We need both sides. We need the content side and the greedy side in order to go onto the right way. But they have to play with each other. So, and the clarity part comes into it. And again, when I see it and I can say, okay, now I feel myself, I'm getting greedy. And then you have to take a decision. Will I admit it? Do I want to even get the greedy stronger? Or do I say, okay, now it's enough. Let's see what I have. And then you come back to what you said before. You say, okay, when I win, am I satisfied with that? Or not?
Yeah, it's always a good question. As a life.
Yeah, as a life. And then say, okay, and do I need more? Do I want more? And the point here, when you identify yourself being greedy, you identify a danger.
A danger?
Yeah, the danger that it carries you away.
Yeah, okay. So you get, that you always want more.
You will lose everything.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, got it.
That's what when you get into the casino, mm-hmm. That's what happens. People mm-hmm. get greedy and they are on a good run, and at the end they go out with nothing.
Yeah, losing everything. Yeah,
and that's a danger you need to identify in that moment. But really, I think 95% of the people don't realize that they are in a greedy stage. Mm. Mm. And that's why I call the danger. And if you know, okay, now I'm here, mm-hmm. and I say, okay, I take a decision to go ahead and use this power to go ahead. Okay, but that is different because it's not diffuse. Yeah. It's just clear.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to, that's the idea at the end with the emotion system. You can go into any emotion. You can say, okay, now in this moment, I decide to be arrogant, mm-hmm. or I decide to be dominant or tenacious, whatever you want. Yeah. Like if you look on the dark side,
yeah.
But you take the decision to be so, and you're not like drawn into it, mm-hmm. because that's what's happening.
So just to get it right, I have to make a decision of how to handle this and what to do. So first of all, I have to be aware of what is going on. Mm-hmm. Am I greedy? Yes, I am. Okay. How will I behave right now? What will I do with this idea? So with being greedy, will I exit the trade just because I identified it or myself being greedy? Or will I manage the trade proper just to see what's going in the market if I'm right with being greedy, but mm-hmm. without risking too much of my profit?
Yes.
So I have to make a decision, and this on a conscious basis, right?
That's the point. Being conscious of what's happening with myself and my emotions. Mm-hmm. And at the end, you have the play between greedy and contented. Mm-hmm. You always have to check, okay. And, if you play that consciously, you can probably increase your profit.
Yeah.
Without having the danger of losing everything.
Yeah. As a management tip here for trading, being greedy in a conscious way could, for example, be that you shift your stop loss a little bit tighter, that you keep your trading stop a little bit tighter, let's say you're in an uptrend, you trade long, so you're in a buying position, and the moment you see that you really have a very good profit in your account without banking it already, you might shift your stop loss to the end, so the low of the previous candle, or the candle which is just closed and made. So by this you can get even a little bit more if the market goes into the direction, but you secure a lot of your profits so far, and you can bank such by the way a good amount of profit. And I think this could be a good management way to deal in a conscious way with your greed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just to put both things together. So if you're in a trade and let's say trade goes into your direction, you have a good move, you have a good profit in your account, you tend to be greedy, but you don't want to raise, or you don't want to remove your stop loss too tight. And suddenly this happens, market goes back a little bit, so you lose a little bit of your profit. It's like this zigzag. You can imagine this. And then your profit comes down, fear comes in, you fear of losing all of your profit or even losing your money, going into a total loss. And this is how we get shifted between this, some kind of greed, some kind of fear. Then the market goes up. If you're in a long trade, goes up again, you enter profit again, you maybe get an even higher profit, then greed comes back again. And it's always a combination of these emotions. And so to put together what we just talked about, if fear comes into play, just move a little bit, shake your body, maybe make some, I don't know, some exercises or so.
Push-ups are wonderful in that say, because it's really
push-ups. Yeah, definitely push-ups, for example, and just move a little bit, get a clear thinking, ask yourself, is this part of my strategy? If it is, so why worry? Or if it's not part of your strategy, then you have to make a decision about closing the trade or do something else or lower your position or whatever. Mm-hmm. So make proper management. And if greed comes in, it's more or less the same. Be aware of being greedy. Yeah, I'm greedy. I want to have more. I'm in a good profit. Maybe the market gives me a little bit more. And obviously, honestly speaking, this happens from time to time. So, of course, if you have a really good move, the market gives you hundreds of points from time to time, or dollar or cent or whatever you're trading with. But I have to make a conscious decision about how to deal with the situation and how to manage my trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And let's talk about a third emotion, which not always, but also comes into play when it comes to trading. It's revenge. From time to time, you have a losing trade and you get so upset by it that you make the next trade just to show the market that you're right. And obviously, this goes always into the next loss, and it's always a bad idea to trade with a revenge thought. So how can I handle this? And where does it come from?
So revenge is, again, a mixture of two emotions. Mm-hmm. And we would combine here anger or wrath with disgust. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the most strongest combinations. You are getting into rage. Mm. It's a rage against whomever, and you're totally losing your mind and your control. And again, clarity is gone, and you just can't stand to look on the situation and really I really want to hurt somebody. So
yeah, sure. And I'm pretty sure we all know this, but as trader, you always hurt yourself. Right?
Yeah. And you're vicious to yourself. Mm-hmm. And if it's somebody needs to pay, and if I go down, I don't care.
Yeah. But I go down with a raised fist.
Yeah. So this is that is a very strong emotion, and there is one emotion which works against it, and but with that you need to be. I would say you need to be very strong with it, and this emotion is called amazement.
Ah, okay.
Amazing.
Interesting, huh?
Yes. And it's really it might be an astonishing way to handle this rage, because first of all, of course, you need to find out that you're in rage. Mm-hmm. Again, we are looking on the same system. Say, okay, I identify myself. Okay, now I'm in rage, But when you're in rage, you don't want to get rid of it, because you just say, okay, that is, and you are and also enthusiastic about being in rage, sort of.
Honestly speaking, you're right. It feels good.
Yeah, so, and now, what you need to do now is take a step back and look on yourself. Mm-hmm. And that the only way, from my point of view, to do it is really to be totally amazed about yourself and say, wow, what's happening with me? It's incredible. Yeah. And it's totally incredible how this, what I just saw here, gets me into really rage and having this revenge thought, and I want to destroy somebody and to punish somebody, to put pain to whomever, and if you get the chance to go to the distance part and have a look on yourself in amazement, you can imagine what happened. You say, whoops, what am I doing here?
Is this really me?
Is it really me? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
There is nobody.
Yeah.
There is nobody I can punch but my PC.
Yeah.
Of course, you take your screen and throw it out of the window. Will that help? No.
But you don't have a screen anymore.
Yeah. So then you have even lost another thing. So you need to really get out of the situation and look on yourself. Mm-hmm. But that needs training. I can show you. Mm-hmm. And again, we are on the first step. You have to identify that you are in the stage of rage now. But that works normally, because if you are so and normally you would see you won't be sitting on the chair anymore, because now it's the emotion of movement, mm-hmm. like dominant, forceful, ambitious acting, say and then you cannot look on the situation anymore, because it's so disgusting what happened here, or what others did, or whatever it is. And so these two together are the strongest combination human mankind has.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Sure.
So, and it's not easy to get out of this emotion, but with a mind about yourself. Mm-hmm. Nothing else works.
So in order to not become the trading Hulk,
yeah, right.
You have to take a step back. Just look on yourself. Just let's say you take over the third position, maybe being outside of yourself. So let's say like this, and just ask yourself: Is this really me? What is happening here? Am I completely reasonable or not? Is this the way I want to see myself doing this? Is this somehow part of my trading plan? Mm-hmm. And obviously, a lot of these questions will be answered with no. And mm-hmm. just by asking yourself these questions, you calm down and you mirror yourself, and then I'm pretty sure. So you lose a lot of your anger.
Yeah, and what's very interesting, the dark side again of amazement would say, how could the situation seduce me mm-hmm. to turn into the trading Hulk? I love this picture, because it really is exactly what it is. And to be curious about the others taking control over yourself, because that happened in that moment. Somebody made you and turned you into this emotion. Mm-hmm. It was not yourself. Somebody did.
Yeah, you lost control of yourself, of your emotions, of your behavior.
And that can't be, because we are, and we should be really in control of our emotions. Mm. And there might be situations where you say, okay, now I want to decide. I choose this emotion. Mm-hmm. It could make sense. Yeah. But if somebody else turns me in, that can't be. Yeah. And that's why the amazement part is working. And from my point of view, you need to create a word for yourself. My word. Wow, I'm so curious how that could happen.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, something like that. And that works for me, but everybody needs to find your own words, mm-hmm. your own pictures for that. Mm-hmm. But if you get a chance to look on yourself, and then like after 2 or 3 minutes, most of the time you begin to smile or laugh about yourself. So, okay, how stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what happens usually, but not with smiling. Usually you lost again money, and then there you can smile, but you know how stupid this is. Obviously, this is the name you give yourself, and that's why it's so important to talk about these things and to bring this all together. Christoph, what is your suggestion for a trader before he or she starts the trading day?
To start in the morning. That's a good idea. And when let's put it like this. This emotion system has been designed for leadership. Mm-hmm. It has been designed for leadership in order to say, okay, whatever happens the day, I have to create emotional sovereignty within myself to handle whatever comes. If there are people who are in a good mood or a bad mood or disappointed or attacking or whatever, that's what it was designed for, to create a sovereignty. And that works here as well, of course, but it's the sovereignty with yourself. And you have like a balance stage of your emotions. And from my point of view, and that's what I do every morning, I just go through all 7 emotions and to create this balance stage. And then whatever happens, I don't get destabilized, because it's sort of being resilient on whatever happens.
Okay. Because you have been there before this day.
Yes. And if you do that every day and every morning, you get used to it. And it's sort of, I would always say, okay, like being mindful about what's around me, and then feel very forceful. I feel very strong for the day, just wonderful. I feel contented with everything what is. Mm-hmm. And then I say, okay, I feel inspired. My curiosity is kind of let's see what's going on this day. And I feel determined. It will be a great day. As I said, resilient, and at the end grateful. And so this is like a balance you create within yourself. And then with the ideas I told you before, and whatever happens, there will come attacks against myself, against my emotion system, and whatever happens. And then when the longer you just have learned to balance your emotions, mm-hmm. the stronger you will get in your brain. You will have control of everything what happens. And I can assure you, rage is gone. You won't have any revenge thoughts anymore, because they don't make sense. And the fear will go, maybe if the fear jumps up, it will go down very, very fast. Mm-hmm. And so the idea is balancing yourself, and that every morning. Yeah. But that is you need to do that like for a month. And it's a good idea just to learn how to act with your emotions and to understand, of course. Mm-hmm. But that's where I would start to before you go there, just go into, try to create a resilient stage of mind and be inspired and be curious what's happening in the day. And the curiosity will, as I said before, will get you out of rage again. Mm-hmm. But you have to have it in your control. Mm-hmm. It's like a tool you need to have. Okay. And just to be honest, you have different. Every person has a different access to different emotions, easily or not so easily. But we all have them, and we can learn it. And that is a way of developing ourselves as humans. And when we are in a balanced stage, nothing really can happen.
Perfect words. Christoph, thank you so much for all the insights and that a lot of help for dealing with emotions. And I'm pretty sure this will help not only me, but all the other ones who listen to this podcast right now. So thanks again. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all your input. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Wieland. It was really fun.
That's already it, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode and you took away some learnings for your personal trading. If you want to learn more about me, about my interview partners, if you want to have a one-on-one coaching or even get into a training course with me or my interview partners, just get into the show notes and follow one of all these links you find there, and then I will be happy to hear and see you again. Your Wieland Arlt.